If you're hurt, injured, don't waste time. Gary Johnson cries for every dime.
Welcome to Simply the Law, a program created by attorney Gary C. Johnson. Simply the Law provides free legal advice and encourages happiness and quality of life. Now, here's Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. Hello, everyone. Welcome into Simply the Law. I'm Keith Casebolt, my good friend and the host of this program, Gary C. Johnson.
Hi, guys and gals. How are you doing? Another week, right? No fighting. Everybody's been good to everyone. No problem. You've said thank you a lot, a whole lot. Every time you go in anywhere, you say thank you, right? Isn't it a wonderful life? I was thinking the other day about how everyone is so important in the jobs they do. And each individual has a unique thing that they provide to our society to make it work. Then I got to thinking back over my lifetime and the fact that everybody is the same and equal in no matter what profession they're in. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. When I was in high school, I would plow with a mule the neighbors' yards for money, and I would help cut mining props for money. I was actually a patrol boy for from the 5th grade through high school to get my free lunch. Then I went to Berea College, and it's a college where that you have to work at least 15 hours a week, but you get free tuition and board, which enabled me to get a college degree. In the summers, I would go to Michigan and work. The first summer that I worked in Michigan, I worked in a park. And what I did in that park was I cleaned the toilets, the commodes, and all of those things. I actually helped and was instrumental primarily on running the garbage truck. I was a garbage man. And I cut grass, endless acres of grass in that park during that summer. Go back to Berea College. The next summer I go to Michigan, and I said, well, maybe I could improve myself a little bit. So I got a job working the assembly line at Chrysler Motors there in Detroit, and I spent that summer doing that. The next summer I go back, I get a job in a machine shop making parts for these trucks that haul cars. And I worked there 58 hours a week all summer long. Then I got out of college and went to law school and became a lawyer. County attorney for 18 and a half years in Pike County, state senator for 4 years. Now, I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this to make a point. Guess what? I was exactly the same person, had exactly the same value, regardless of which one of those jobs I was doing. And that's the point I'm trying to make to you. No matter what your job is, you are what God made and you're who you are. So think about that, folks. I'm not saying this to brag or anything about what I've done in the past. I'm saying it to tell you how special you are in any endeavor you do. That you're unique and you're needed. Every one of those jobs that I did, it served a purpose for our society. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know in which job I was the most important, because they all had to be done. So I'm just passing that on to you folks to be thinking about it, okay?
You know, I'm glad you opened this program up with that, because I've been around you for a long time. I did not know some of these stories. And as I was listening to you, I was thinking, you are always so kind, and you always shed the light on the working man and woman, and now I know why. You've been there. You've done that.
I've been on the assembly line. I've been in the machine shop. I've cleaned my fair share of the toilets. I've done just about everything you can think of to try to make a dollar to get by, just like most of you have. And we live, and we're human beings. But then again, I was state senator. So what? No big deal. I was no more important being state senator than I was when I was on that garbage truck in that park. I'm the same person.
May have been happier when you were on the garbage
It was
truck.
a lot easier, trust me. It was a whole lot easier. And that's the point I'm trying to make to you folks. So no matter what you've ended up doing in life, you're important and it's okay. You're the same important, no matter if you'd have gone on to be president, you'd still be who you are. No more, no less.
You know, Gary, what I really like about what you just did, I mean, here you are now, and some people may not know this, but Gary just came off a trip of teaching the elite of the elite attorneys across the country, the United States. And you're sitting here not ashamed of cleaning the toilets, but telling people with pride, here's the jobs I've done, here's the work I've done, and I'm as proud of that work as I am standing in front of the top attorneys across the United States and telling them how to do this profession.
Fact is probably better than fooling with those people. The other thing I left out is when I started law school, I joined the Army Reserve. And, guess when old dummy here got activated? Before the end of my first semester of law school, I was activated to go to do my basic training and the training. And I had to report for basic training in Fort Knox on January the 1st.
Wow.
Now think about that. That was in 1971. One of the coldest winters I think we ever had. But I was the same person, made it through it, just like many of you that's been in the service made it through it. And anyone, if you want to shape who you are and your character and understand humility, go take basic training in the Army. They teach it to you real quick. Right, guys and gals that may have been there, you know what I'm talking about.
So now I'm taking from this whole thing, when you're telling this background, I'm sitting here listening to you. No wonder you're not intimidated when you walk into a courtroom and you're up against defense attorneys or big insurance. That's a breeze compared to basic training on January 1.
There's nothing those people can do and throw at me that I've not lived. Period. I'm not a bit worried about it. Honestly, when you go through life and you look back on all the experiences you've had, and again, I want to emphasize to my friends that are watching this, you're the same person no matter what you're doing. You're the person God made. You are important, and what you're doing is important. Don't ever let anyone diminish you in any way, because they don't have that right. And if you're ever going to be judged, look them in the eye and say, I'll wait and let the good Lord judge me. You're not going to do it. I'm important, I'm special, I'm unique, I'm exactly the way the good Lord made me to be. Suck off. Okay, and do it. I mean, seriously, it's the truth. So, my friends, let's take a break and we'll come back. I have some stuff I want to talk to you about.
You know, I love that opening from Gary, because that was some information that I didn't know, and I'm sure all of us right now are kind of going back to our past and thinking of how we got started, the work that we did, all of the things that's brought us to where we are. And we should be proud of it, just like Gary said. Stay with us. Simply the Law will continue right after you see this.
I'm attorney Gary C. Johnson. I hate these commercials as bad as you do. I have no choice if I want to let you know that I'm in the business of practicing law, representing injured people, except to do this commercial. I don't fish, I don't golf, I get money for injured people. Check my record, go to GaryCJohnson.com, and I'll bet you if you've been hurt, you might want to give me a call.
Welcome back in to Simply the Law. Thank you so much for joining us. And Gary, I really appreciate the opening you did and sharing your life's experiences, because I think that enlightened a lot of us.
Well, again, the point I'm trying to make, my friends, is no matter what you're doing or what you've done in life, it's important, and you're the same person. And no matter if you're going on to become president, you would not be any more important than you are doing what you've done to contribute to our society. That's the point I'm trying to make. Let's go to the computer. I want to talk to my friends about some stuff. There's the information on our Lexington office. It's easy to get. It's right off of where you go in on
Man of War?
Winchester Road, Winchester Road, and I-75 is where it's at. That's where you'll find it. And it's our Lexington office. We've got a full staff there. In fact, I've got 4 lawyers there. So if any of you are down that way, get run over, if something happens to you, call us there in Lexington. Our other number is here local, 800-337-4002. And you can also get us on your cell phone really easy by just dialing pound HURT. Pound HURT. And it'll ring straight into my office from your cell phone. Make it very, very easy, okay? Now, let's see what else we got. There's our website, GaryCJohnson.com. And in general, please make sure you have underinsurance that protects you and your family. And do not sign, if you can ever get out of it, in a nursing home, co-lease, or hospital where you're going to be settling your dispute by arbitration with arbitrators that they choose, okay? Now let's go. Done with the computer for a little bit. I'll talk to you folks about something that's on my mind. I talked a little bit about it on a radio show the other day, and I got to thinking about it, and I said, well, I need to talk a little more about it, maybe when I get on the TV show. And it's about lawsuits. And you say, oh my God, I'm so sick of hearing about lawsuits. Oh no, Gary, you're going to talk about lawsuits? Get me out of here. Don't click off yet. Why do we have lawsuits? Think about it. Why do people file lawsuits?
It's a good question.
Well,
I'm going to answer because someone has been wronged, and the party that's wronged them doesn't want to make it right.
Or could it be that somebody goes to a lawyer and files a lawsuit because they're just trying to get something for nothing, when the insurance company's been trying to be very fair with them? Well, guess what? We have lawsuits, the ones I deal with, the lawyers that practice law such as myself. We have to file lawsuits because there is no other choice for the people that have been hurt. No one comes to them from an insurance company and says, oh my God, we understand how bad you got hurt here. We need to look at your medical, and we need to make sure we write you a check. Yeah, have you ever know that to happen?
For the full amount.
For the full amount of the
Yes.
coverage, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, they'll write you a check for $500 or $1,000 or nothing.
Yeah.
When a lawsuit is filed, it first has to start with someone being harmed or wronged because of someone else breaking safety rules. If people didn't violate and break safety rules, there would be no one injured through someone else's fault, right? Let's start with that premise. Now let's assume Keith was in a wreck, and let's assume he got hurt. Then it's caused him medical bills, it's caused him to lose wages because he couldn't go to work, and it's impacted his body, say, to the point to where he's going to have problems the rest of his life. Now what does Keith do? Where does he go to report what happened to him to try to get some relief or some compensation? How does that work? Well, the first thing Keith has to do is he has to suck it up, as embarrassing as it may be, and call a plaintiff's lawyer such as myself. Now think about it. Is there anyone else he can call?
The policeman that did the wreck, he's not going to be able to do that. Your elected officials are not going to be able to do. There's nowhere else you're going to get help.
So, why do you think there has been such a big thing over the years to disparage us plaintiffs' lawyers and say we're the villains, we're the 1-800-SUEMs? Because if they can get everybody believing we're scoundrels and we're the only people that can report the wrongdoing, then the insurance company's got a leg up, right? So it's worked. We're the scoundrels, right? The plaintiffs' lawyers. We're the ones that's running everything with all of these lawsuits. But when poor old Keith say he was hurt, he has no choice but to call one of us, because we are the only ones that's in the business of filing reports on behalf of people that are injured to the authorities.
Gary, what about our viewers that would be tuning in right now saying, well, wait a minute. I see all these commercials on television where the insurance company says, oh, we handled that, we took care of that. Why can't Keith just call the insurance company and say, oh, here's the facts, and I've got this policy, and they come in and do the right thing like the TV ads say?
Well, guess what? You can say anything on TV as an ad. Why do you think they spend so much money advertising? Can you imagine if they spent that money paying claims, how much better world it'd be? Think of that. Every time you turn it on, save 15%. This little reptiles, we're in good hands, right? Oh, just like a good neighbor. In reality, insurance companies collect premiums and they pay claims when they absolutely have to pay claims. It's business, it's not personal, it's nothing against you, it's nothing against Keith that they didn't pay him. It has nothing to do with it. It's business. It's just business. Let's take a break, we'll come right back.
You know, I love the way he points it out. So it's real simple. Premiums, good. Claims, bad. And the insurance companies are in business to make money. Stay with us. Gary's got a lot more information on this that I think you're going to find pretty interesting. This is Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson.
Insurance companies will test lawyers to see if they know what they're doing. Luckily, they tested me. And because of that, over the years, I've been able to get verdicts for my clients in excess of $315 million in the state of Kentucky, most of which are just in eastern Kentucky. We proved we know what we're doing. We proved we can go in front of a jury. And guess what? Most of my cases settle now. Wonder why? Give us a call.
Welcome back into Simply the Law. Gary, you were giving us good information, but you used a terminology there when you were talking that this is business. So to the insurance company, they're looking at this basically as profit and loss, dollars. They're looking at how do we keep all the premiums and not pay out the claims.
Well, and from a business standpoint, you can't blame them, okay? Because it's business. They're in the business to make a profit for their shareholders. They're in the business to make a profit so they have their big buildings and their quality of life. That's what they do. When you look at why would they force people to file a lawsuit? Guess what? There is a certain percentage of people that will not file a lawsuit. So that they can chalk off right there. They've saved that money. There's a percentage of people that it's the trauma of going to a plaintiff's lawyer, the mental distress of going through a lawsuit is more than they could take, so they don't do it. And the insurance companies know this. There is a percentage that they can write down that we know we're never going to have to pay the claim because they will not file a lawsuit against us.
Gary, there's even a point that I know an individual because of a religious factor of not bringing a lawsuit against your brother who was horribly harmed but would not file the lawsuit because of his beliefs. So the insurance company knows this.
They know this. They know that it's bean counters, it's statistics, it's just business. They also know that they have spent so much money over the years prejudicing people against lawsuits and making everyone believe that everything is a frivolous lawsuit with someone out to get something for nothing, and that the plaintiff's lawyers who make the report to the jury are scumbags that are just trying to rip off the system, that we're just greedy.
I didn't know this until Gary mentioned this propaganda, and one of my favorite shows is Andy Griffith, and I shared this with you. One of the shows had this unscrupulous lawyer who was trying to get something for nothing for Otis, the drunk in the jail, and how they portrayed it, I didn't realize that we were being affected by propaganda in the hit show of shedding light on the attorney.
So let me tell you in reality how the system works, my friends. The only people that are willing to make a report on behalf of someone that's hurt, say if it was Keith or whoever, is plaintiff's lawyers such as myself. We are the messengers. Guess what? They have done a hatchet job on the messengers. Us. Now, do you think that lawyers such as myself have anything to do with the amount of money that a jury puts down on a verdict form? We don't. It's 12 people, your neighbors. You don't have anything to do with it. We can report the facts to the jury, which is our job, is to make a report. And the authority we have to make the report to is a jury, the people. The only ones that has the power to say, you broke a safety rule, you're insured by this insurance company, and they need to pay this claim. It's a jury that has to make that decision. No, we don't make it. We are the messengers. That's all we are. We go out, we file a lawsuit, we ask a judge, let us get in front of a jury so we can make a report to the authorities that have something to do, that have the power to do something about this. And that's what a jury is. Most of the time people say, well, that jury's giving this, giving that, giving that. A jury don't give anyone anything. All a jury does is appraise the amount of damages that's been done to this person by the person that broke the safety rules. They render a verdict. They're not giving anyone anything. They're finding facts. Did they break a safety rule first? If they broke a safety rule, how much harm did it do to the person that was harmed? What is the money damages that it's cost this person because these safety rules were broke? That's what a jury does. They then render a verdict. That verdict doesn't give anybody anything. That verdict is nothing but an appraisal of the person's damages and the harm that was done. Then the judge takes that verdict, makes whatever adjustments that need to be made to it under the law, and enters a judgment on the verdict. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Stay with us. We'll have the last word on Simply the Law right after this.
You notice on the legal advertisement of lawyers that they've made verdicts an issue? Well, guess what? This old boy from Eastern Kentucky's got the largest verdict in the state of Kentucky, and nobody's even come close to it. Over my career, I've got my client verdicts of over $315 million. Yep, I'm glad they made verdicts an issue. Check my record and I'll bet you decide it might be wise to give old Gary a call.
Welcome back into Simply the Law. Now, you were talking in that last segment about the money. This money is the insurance that the individual has paid premiums for to be there in case there is an accident, a wreck. This is not criminal by the individual that hurt you, right?
In theory, in reality, the lawsuit should be against the insurance company or the insurance policy that the person has. if there's no insurance, there's not going to be a lawsuit. But in order to create the fiction under the law, which the insurance companies have promoted through their lobbying efforts, you have to sue the wrongdoer. You don't get to sue the insurance company. Better yet, you don't even get to mention insurance. You don't get to mention insurance to the jury. You don't get to say how much insurance the person's got. Any of that. There's a big fiction in the courtroom that, oh, insurance isn't got anything to do with this, even though the insurance lawyers are there day after day after day representing the same people.
What kind of effect does that have, that the injured individual now has to sue someone in the community or someone that has a company in the community that did wrong, and all you hear is, look what they're doing to this person or what they're doing to this company, when you're right, it should be against the insurance company?
Think about it. Safety rules broke. Someone's harmed. The amount of damages and harm that was done should be exactly the same regardless of who the defendant are, right? If it's the largest corporation in the country or if it's a little old lady or Mother Teresa. Mm-hmm. The verdict of the jury should be the same, right? Should be the same. Because the damages are what they are.
The extreme of this, Gary, is if you made a mistake driving and you actually ran into me. You and I have been together for 20 years. I can't sue the insurance company. I would have to sue you, my friend, Gary C. Johnson, mm-hmm. and make it look like that I'm against you.
That's right.
That is incredible.
And it's in order to diminish the damages of the person that's harmed. Because the defendant is the person that broke the safety rules. When in reality, the defendant is the insurance company. The insurance company hires a lawyer. The insurance company hires the defense doctors who they have on their retainers or whatever to say there's nothing wrong with the person. All of that is insurance. And again, there would be no lawsuit if there was no insurance, because if there's no place to get the money from, why would anybody waste their time filing a lawsuit? It's crazy, right? And if there's no insurance, there's no lawsuit. It's that simple. Every single time you see a lawsuit, it's because there's an insurance policy. And the jury's role is to appraise the damages to the person. And there's many times the jury says there's no damages. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If there's no damages, there should be no verdict. But the verdict should be exactly what the damages are. No more, no less, regardless of who the defendant is.
Great information, my friend. Listen, on this program, we talked about a little bit of the propaganda toward the attorney. Next week, we'll talk about what the insurance company does to the injured person. On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thank you for tuning in to Simply the Law.
Thank you for watching Simply the Law, a program created by Gary C. Johnson. Until next week, may you be safe, blessed, and happy.